Good morning, Bernadette.
Good morning, Katie.
How are you today?
I am well. I'm up heading. I have an appointment at 9. So, of course, I listen with my picture because I'll be doing other things too.
Oh, that's totally fine. Not a problem at all.
Yeah, I see you had a wonderful Easter.
We did. We had a great Easter. How about you?
I did. I really did. It was very relaxing. Um,
Good.
yeah, I saw the kids with the Easter bunny and stuff.
They had a big time.
Did they have a big Easter egg hunt or something out there?
They had like lunch.
Oh,
So
that was
that was
that
good.
means yeah, that means you didn't have to do anything.
That's right. That's right. That was really nice.
Yeah, I was wondering if kids were going to get all dressed up this year based on, some of the churches are not meeting and stuff.
Hmm.
So I think they had, because I talked to someone and they was going to, what's the place on Taylor Road? Nepopia? It's a jumping game.
Utopia. Yes.
Yeah, Natopia. They were having a big thing out there. And
Hmm.
I was like, okay, I guess they will get to do something. And of course, they always do the parks and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm up and ready to get back at it this morning.
Well, that's awesome. Well, we're going to this morning talk about value proposition. And if anybody else decides to join us, we'll just let them in. And then if not, we've got this session recorded in YouTube
Okay.
to move forward. But I appreciate you joining this morning, Bernadette.
Sure. And actually, that's an excellent topic because I'm trying to decide what mine is for my package, my listings, my stuff. I'm trying to determine what my value proposition
Yeah.
would be. Yeah.
Well, hopefully some of this material today will help you. And then we also have a session of Ignite that's completely on how to deliver your value proposition. So
Got you. Perfect.
that could be helpful too. So
Okay.
your value proposition is how you market an innovation, service, or feature intended to make a company or product attractive to customers. So for us as real estate agents, just like you said, Bernadette, that value proposition is crucial to communicating how we have value and why others should choose to do business with us. So you can say it like, well, it's kind of like an elevator speech. How do you define yourself in an elevator speech?
Right.
So the first thing you want to do, and I took this from customer experience, Bernadette, and I've got this in a PDF. It wouldn't upload to the thing, but I'm going to share it in our Facebook group, so you're able to do it like a worksheet. Okay.
Okay.
So the main thing you want to ask yourself, imagine one of your customers is at a party and talking about their recent experience working with you. What is the story they're telling about you, and what do you want them to tell? This is a good exercise to do. So, what is somebody saying? Oh, Bernadette, she was my realtor, and here is my experience. What are some things that you would like somebody to say about you, Bernadette?
Oh wow. That she oh, that's a good question. I don't know what people say. Let me think about that for a minute. Well, she was successful in helping with my home buying process, or she took the load off, or some of the things, a lot of the questions I had, or I was a great source of resources, mainly is what I would like for them to say. That
Okay,
even if I didn't know, I knew how to get them, because I don't know it all, but at least I know how to get you to the right people to get what you need.
that's right. Good morning, Malin.
Hey,
Are you able to talk with us this morning?
I am.
Okay, cool. So right now we're talking about value proposition. That's the focus on today's session. And we're doing an exercise. So imagine your customer is at a party and is talking about their recent experience with you. What is the story they're telling about you, and what is the story you want them to tell? So this is a good exercise to do when you're thinking about how to define yourself to others. Is how do you want other people to define you, right? What do you want? So Bernadette said, helpful, a great resource, stress reliever. Those are some of the things that she said, but that's really great to keep in mind. You may say client focused. That's a good one. Um, In the 21st century, customers are expecting personalized attention along with a proactive customer experience. At Keller Williams, as we know, customers always come first. We focus on our customers, and because that's why we're on business, and that's the core of who we are and what we do. We want to create and maintain relationships that grow our database, establish customer loyalty and lifetime value, which creates referrals and repeat customers. So, some of the attributes that we probably want to have are great listener, clients first, great communication, understanding, care, memorable, and exceeding expectations. And if we pour those into our value proposition and into our customer experience, that's going to become what others say about us, right? So, Malin, like I told Bernadette, I pulled this worksheet from a class called Customer Experience, and I'll share it in our Facebook group for you guys to do on your own, like a worksheet. So we also want to remember that we want to have exclusivity. So you can't just get what Bernadette can provide from anywhere, right? That's unique to Bernadette. It needs to be appealing. So what does Malin offer that's so appealing to the customer? We have to have clarity, and then we have to have credibility. The clarity is simplifying. You want to make it where it could be told in an elevator speech or 60 seconds or less. You want to make it so clear what value you bring that no one is going to question it. And then our credibility, of course, comes from the repeat business, the referrals, those online reviews. That's where that credibility comes from. And you can't, I don't think you can have one piece of this without the other pieces to create that value proposition. Let's see. So your unique value proposition, you can look at it like this. What does your customer need and care about? What do you do really well? And then, of course, we always want to be taking a look at what the competition does so we can stay ahead of the competition. Your unique value proposition is in the crux of what the customer needs and cares about and what you do really well. The reason you're just taking a look at what the competition does is to know how you can stay relevant and stay ahead of what the competition is doing. Especially in this market right now, if you're going on a listing appointment, odds are there are other realtors competing for that listing, right?
Right.
So to stay relevant, you need to know your market and your demographic. So know who your customer audience is. Know your preferred communication style. So know how you best communicate. And then how you can also communicate with others by mirror and matching what they're doing, and then knowing your value proposition. So that's what we're going to help you with today, coming up with. So why do you think knowing the market and the demographic you work with is so important to your customer experience and to communicating your value?
I think you have to be able to, that's the expertise that you have to relate to your potential client if you're trying to earn their business, because there are other agents as well might know all the data, and if you don't know it, it's not going to come across as you know what you're doing.
That's right. They expect us to be knowledgeable, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we have to be students of the market, and especially if we have a certain niche or an area that we're farming and doing business in, they're going to expect us to know that market. Okay.
I noticed you said niche, and I always thought it was niche. So how do you pronounce it?
I think it could be either one.
Because I've always said know your niche, and you just said
I
niche.
think it could be either one. Yeah.
Okay.
I think either one. And then how do you learn more about your market so that you can be relevant? What do we need to do first and foremost? Study MLS. Yeah. So pulling up that hot sheet, looking at what's happening in your neighborhood that you are farming and focused on. Especially if you're going on a listing appointment, you need to know as much about that neighborhood that you can. So you need to master doing a comparative market analysis. You need to master knowing what's going on in the market, and you need to master how to communicate that. And then we talked a little bit about preferred communication styles. And so have you all taken the DISC before?
No, I need to that. And what's the other one too, the KPA or
The
something?
KPA, yeah. So the KPA will help you kind of look at your personality strengths. The DISC looks more at how you communicate yourself and what's your natural style and what's your adaptive style. And so I have links. If you guys will send me an email and say, send me the KPA or send me the DISC or send me both, I can send them both to you. And we can work through the results.
Oh,
Um,
wonderful.
of those. And those definitely help in knowing your value proposition because it's giving you, hey, Bernadette is, and it goes through a whole list of things. Now, if you agree with it, it's going to help you. I've never seen anyone disagree with their DISC or their KPA. So those are definitely great tools, Bernadette,
Okay.
to use. And so that will help you as you're looking at descriptors of your value and how it's unique just specifically to you. Okay. Do you know what your dominant communication style is? Does anybody know? Are you more assertive, sociable, structured, or steady?
You know what? You never know yourself as well as you think you know yourself. So I could be totally wrong, but I thought I was assertive. But then when I think about that, I'm like, I'm really not a social butterfly. And people seem to say they find that strange as much as I talk and joke around, but I'm really not as sociable as I think I am. But I can be assertive as necessary. So I don't know if there's an in between there or what. Yeah.
Well,
I'm
I think
definitely not stable. Okay. So,
well, the DISC will definitely help, and so will the KPA. So just send me an email to remind me.
okay.
Okay, so your value proposition states in a few sentences sentences exactly what you will do for your customer. You should always be prepared to present your value proposition, and this goes through this customer experience. Okay, so your value proposition, your first steps is setting the expectation. So in a simple precise description of the benefits, education, and the value the customer will get from working with you. That's your value proposition. The benefits, including education, right? And then the value. You want to list your strengths, clearly convey all the things that you do to earn your fee. It will vary depending on whether your customer is a buyer or seller, right? So you need to have your value to a buyer, you need to have your value to a seller. If you're working with investors, you want to have your value to that specific group, like I said, your niche. And it is your covenant between you and your customer. So you're going to set your expectation with your value proposition. And this is from the Millionaire Real Estate Agent. Top real estate agents always have a clear understanding of why they should be hired, and they are able to articulate it to anyone at any time. For sellers, their goal is to net them the most amount of money in the shortest amount of time with the least amount of problems. For buyers, their goal is to find them the just right home at the best price and the right time for the least amount of problems. Great service begins with clear purpose or why someone should work with you. Here are some examples of some value propositions. We have built a full service team specifically for consumers. For the same price as working with a normal agent, consumers can take advantage of buyer specialists, listing agents, a marketing department, transaction coordinators, telemarketers, inside sales, and virtual assistants. Our goal is to be informative and helpful. We hope to earn your business with our exemplary level of service and an extensive local knowledge of our area. We use our expert advice, local neighborhood knowledge, and up-to-date market data to achieve successful real estate outcomes for our clients on a daily basis. So that's an example of a value proposition. So all that to say, you can have like that elevator speech, but then you also need to underline it with your tagline, your slogan, and your marketing. So here's some example one-liners from top agents. Okay, out to change the way you think about real estate. Prompt and professional service is our guarantee. We sell more because we do more. Innovation, determination, and a cutting-edge team approach. So on the worksheet part of things that I'm going to share with you guys, there's an activity to help you prepare your value proposition. Here are the questions that it comes with. I exceed expectations by, and you fill in the blanks. I deliver an exceptional experience for my customers by, and you fill in the blank. My personal strengths are, and then my team strengths are. So if you are thinking, oh, well, I'm just a solo agent, I don't have a team, you have an office and a franchise brand to lean on, and you definitely need to take advantage of that. It's not all about you saying how many years you've been in real estate. It's not all about you saying, oh, I've closed X amount of deals. It's more about why should someone choose to work with you. The exercise in the beginning saying, if you heard a customer talking at a party and they were describing their experience with you, what would you want them to say? You can look at it two ways. What would they say currently? And then what would you want them to say? And if you're not meeting the expectations of what you would want them to say, then you need to readjust the service that you're bringing and how can you incorporate what your value proposition is, and maybe bring a little more clarity to it. Right? Maybe people just don't know because you're keeping it inside some of your value as opposed to sharing that with people. You can follow up from this session with Ignite is deliver your value proposition. There's a whole session of Ignite on it. And then, like I said today, from the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, there's definitely information there on your value proposition and how that is unique to you. But you definitely have to be able to deliver anytime, know exactly what to say, and keep that a common thread through your customer experience. Does anybody have any questions or anything to add?
That gave me a good insight on where to start because I was thinking the value proposition and what you said it just a few minutes ago, it's not all about all the units and all of this and all the clothes, which that's why we're in this business. However, sometimes when you're trying to figure out something, at least for me anyways, and I'm thinking, how can I create the value of a top agent? I mean, my value is not going to be there because I hadn't sold that many units. I don't have that many, I'm a dual career person. So my limited beliefs, I believe, hinders me on that. But for you to hear you say it, it's like, okay, I have a value. I just have to determine what it is, and I have to do that. I have to act that out. I have to do what I say and say what I do, kind of thing, I guess. And it doesn't have to be like anyone else's, but my thinking is as an agent, and of course, I'm not a new agent anymore, but I am a dual career agent. So I have to kind of get in when I can, as much as I can, when I can. And I have been struggling, like I said at the beginning of this meeting, that I was struggling with that value proposition because I'm like, I don't have all these stats. But then I realized, okay, my office can be my stats. My brand is Keller Williams. That is the stats. We, when I say we, and I'm part of that, Keller Williams things, we do this a month or we do this a year. And that's a filler for me until I can get those stats.
That's right. Well, still sometimes having that, conveying that you have a partnership with a successful firm, it conveys that to your customer, your client, that you've got a lot of support to help you fulfill their needs, right?
Right.
I just put out from quarter one results. We're number one company in our area. Are you conveying that and communicating that when you're meeting with people? Hey, I work with the number one real estate company in Montgomery. This is how we can help you. This is how, having that technology and things like that, that's really going to help support you and your client. Making sure that, Bernadette, one thing I would say about you is, you're extremely dedicated. Anybody that has a dual career and is doing two things at one time, there's got to be dedication. There's got to be perseverance. There's got to be things like that you're probably not thinking about when you're just looking at yourself. So that's where those assessments will help you kind of bring clarity to who you are, where you may know who you are, but sometimes we have a hard time communicating that to others. So that definitely will help you.
Right. Thanks. Yeah.
You're very welcome. Well, I hope that you guys got value out of attending this morning. We're going to go ahead and wrap up. I'm going to share this PDF in the Facebook group, and that way you can do some of these exercises that we talked through this morning. It definitely will help you. Don't limit yourself by not having a put together value proposition, because especially this day and age, you really need to know your value and be able to communicate it well. All right, guys.
Very well said.
Thanks for joining us this morning. Bye,
Bye.
everybody.
I'll email you later too as well.
Sounds great. Thanks.
Bye.